Just one.
Okay, scene one. Very good. Eva?
Just one.
Yeah, just scene one.
Life happens.
Okay. Give me your name again.
Oh, Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Yeah.
Okay, just scene one.
Yes, I feel like this man went from one stage to another.
Okay.
And
And
he feels helpless. I mean, first he's lying on a pallet, and then he stands up and he's tucking his shirt into his pants. Something doesn't vibe here.
exactly. And give me your name again. Is it Barbara?
Carolyn.
Oh, Carolyn. Carolyn.
My impression was that he was failing in health, both spiritual and physical, and that's what you perceived through the image.
Interesting. Good. Natasha?
He's confused, and he was reaching out for help because he doesn't see help that he has already,
Okay.
within or outside him.
Wonderful. Okay, so this is really interesting. Ted? Aliana?
Same.
Same.
I thought my first impression was moving from the wheelchair to the table and then to the pallet showed that he came to you for healing, but it might be taking place in multiple lifetimes.
Very good. Interesting. Ooh.
Some form or aspect of spirituality, probably, of your life was getting weaker and needed strength. You kept progressively getting weaker. Needed attention.
Needed attention. Very good. Your name?
I need Heather. I need a handout.
Okay. Sorry. There wasn't one. All right. Sorry. I thought there was one on every single chair. I am so sorry. All right. Wendy? Okay. Kara?
I mean, I don't know. Well, I just thought that it seemed kind of like a slow progression and a slowing down, a weakening towards death.
Okay. Very good. Wanda?
I got the man is part of your own psyche. He represents any place that you feel you are suffering and unsupported, and your own ability to have compassion for yourself through your stages of coming to understand it.
Excellent. Bill?
He is transitioning through various stages of dying.
Okay. Sharon?
3 different phases / challenges of someone's life.
Okay. And
Oh,
Hope?
sorry, I didn't get it.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Don't turn the page. Don't. I'm going to read it to you. I don't want you to see the next part. All right. This is the interpretation that my guides gave me. I see only the physical appearance of the handicapped, represented in 3 stages: the wheelchair, the stretcher, and the pallet. I feel compassion and about to give him some words of encouragement, but am seeing only through the eyes of perception, through the eyes of the ego. And several of you had various variations of that theme. Okay, so now, second part. Let me just recap. It's scene 2. I turn to say something to him and watch as he stands up, tucking his shirt into his pants. No signs of ailment, deformity, or disease. Okay, and we'll start. Boom. Let's start with you.
I wrote down that the man either died or was healed.
Okay, excellent. Jean?
All healing is self-healing.
Excellent. Eliana?
A big feeling of surprise in that he either has been healed or didn't need the healing.
Great. Okay. Natasha?
I have, he did some inner work, and he's okay now.
Fantastic. Carolyn?
I say he has regained his health and spirit by the compassion shown.
Super. Bonnie?
I don't know.
Just what you wrote down for that scene, for scene 2.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have, like you said, any ailments or deformity or disease. So, I mean, I don't know what he was trying to tell, anybody.
Okay. Eva?
Life happens, but life can be changed on many levels.
Okay, great. Pujan?
He found himself.
Super.
Shock, surprise.
Oh, the what?
Shock, surprise.
Shock, surprise. Good. Sharon?
He decides to get up and get back on his feet.
Good. Bill?
He transitioned to the spirit world where he was healed.
Okay. Wanda?
You have come to sense the reality of it. Suffering and aloneness is the illusion overcome by shifting perception.
Great. Kara?
I felt your confusion in what this was supposed to mean, like kind of what you're seeing versus the reality of what he's experiencing.
Correct. Good. Wendy?
Spontaneous healing is available to all.
Super. Super. Okay. And this is what the guide said. Now, remember, as I wrote the dream down, then I went back point by point and just went to scene 1 and listened to the voice inside my head. And these are the words I get. So what I'm reading you is exactly what I hear my guides telling me. Scene 2. I'm not aware of the inward spiritual reason for the handicap, the gifts that the handicap brings with it, represented by both his ability to take care of himself and his independence in dressing himself. So effectively, again, you picked up bits and pieces of it, of that.
Alicia, I have a question for clarification. Because I really like that you accessed another source for the answer.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear it, I'm curious whether it's slow enough that you can write it word for word, or if you hear it all and then you kind of, in a sense, replay it so that you can write it over. So at what speed are you writing it, and what speed are you hearing it?
I write it as I hear it.
What if they're going da-da-da-da-da and you just can't keep up?
No, it
Or
doesn't.
the pace is good for you.
Exactly.
Perfect.
I write it as I hear it.
Mhm.
And I think that this is occasionally, if I hear things and they come in too fast, and this is a technique Wanda taught us, just ask them to slow down.
Okay.
Slow it down,
Okay.
I can't get it, or if I'm being bombarded by too many voices, one voice. I ask for, and in my prayers in the morning, I ask to hear everything through the voice of the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
One voice. I don't want a whole cacophony of voices. That would be alarming. So,
A cappella.
right, right. Okay, scene 3. Okay, before I leave, my gaze travels back into the room. The man is standing at the window, surrounded by his wife and 5 children. I feel rather surprised that he has such a warm, loving family around him. During our initial meeting, he had presented himself as totally alone and relying on the generosity of strangers. But obviously, he's not alone, and he doesn't need the generosity of strangers. Okay, so Ho, we're going to start with you. What did you have for scene 3? Okay, Sharon?
I didn't write anything either.
Okay.
I didn't get that far in the things.
Bill?
He is now with his spirit guides and angels who are welcoming him into the spirit world.
Okay. Wanda?
In reality, he is fully supported, never alone, and doing exactly what he needs to do to achieve the right outcome in his spiritual journey on earth.
Great. Kara?
The importance of not judging others through our eyes. Things are not always what they seem, and that we have the power within. Always.
Fantastic. Wendy?
You've let go, and now you see things clearly.
Great. And you were able to do it. Boom?
I think the family represents love that he is always with from his guides. He's always supporting.
Excellent. Gina?
Oh, I got that he was emotionally disconnected and felt alone. The healing was emotional and spiritual and not physical.
Great. Eliana?
More of a feeling of surprise, and in that what he was presenting initially about his sense of being so helpless was not at all commensurate with the richness that he actually had, where the riches were the love and support and the family connection.
And, okay, that's great. And Natasha?
He has a community that is helping him heal.
Heal. Good. Bonnie?
Um,
No, Carolyn. Carolyn.
I felt that as if his spiritual health had returned, which indeed appeared to me that it had,
Right.
that would restore his family relationships. In other words, one would lead to the other, and that he may have been alone before, felt he was alone, but that came as a result of his healing.
Okay, great. Super. Bonnie?
I think, he felt alone then, but he didn't realize he didn't have to rely on strangers and, other people to know that he was okay.
Go ahead. Eva?
Life can be adapted to your liking by will. We are all strong enough to look at our shadows.
Good. Great.
He was never alone. It was just his perception, and the perception changed.
Fantastic. Okay, turn to the third page. Scene 3. And I think Kara said it exactly. Nothing is what it seems. Reiteration of what was established in scene 2. Nothing is what it seems. His wife and 5 loving children represent the reality of his situation, no matter what the outward appearance may be. Originally, I did not recognize the gifts around him, gifts that were supporting his life, presuming that he was helpless because of his external circumstances. The reality is that no matter what the external circumstances show, on some level, the person chose to have that experience, and that choice is fully supported in spirit. So, this is what I received as the interpretation for this dream. And every single dream that I have, including some very upsetting ones, I immediately sit down and pull them apart, scene by scene, or, not even like part of a scene, but part of a scene, and ask, I put a question mark at the end of each sentence, and ask, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Because what they tell me is so different from the way I would interpret it. And this is you trying, this is what I'm just trying to get across. Trust yourself. Trust what you get. And trust because these are a higher aspect of yourself, just trying to help you lead your life towards a higher plane. And it's so interesting because so many people will say to me, I never hear Spirit's voice. And my answer to that is, Spirit talks to you all the time. There's never a time when you're not communicating with Spirit, or Spirit is not communicating with you. But the ego's voice is just very loud. And so Spirit's voice is very quiet, so you just have to listen very, very carefully. And the beauty of putting aside time to write, like the morning pages, every single morning, and it's interesting because, Eva, when you said, do you ever reread your journal? When I do reread it, it astonishes me how many things, even 15 years ago, are still out there in books today. And, the Spirit's message is Spirit's message. It's all the same. But anyway, Did anybody bring a dream that they are really puzzled about, that we could all kind of interpret as a group? Anybody bring one?
No.
Anna?
Lately, I've been having dreams, and these are reoccurring dreams on occasion. I'm not quite sure what the reasons are, like what goes on in my life. I haven't really quite found the pattern, but lately when I go to sleep, I'm in a house of some sort, somebody's house. Sometimes it feels like mine, sometimes it feels like someone else's, and I'm walking through it. And it's room after room after room, and I see, sometimes it'll be, I'll just be amazed, like I'm looking at a house to buy a house or to move to a new location, and that usually is what it feels like, or else I'm kind of away from, at a party or something, and I'm wandering through, and there's just one more room after one more room, and I'm like wandering around, and I feel kind of lost, but amazed at the same time, because it's all very curious, and all the things in each room, and so I don't really know what that's all about. But.
Okay, let's take a minute and write down your first reaction to what she said, and we'll go over it.